Still with me is political legend Sir Vince Cable in the corner, and I'm joined now by the king of the common sense crusade, local man to me, back up in Nottinghamshire, yep. Calvin Robinson. Great to see you, Calvin. Thanks for joining. Straight into it. Yeah, a man of religion, a well-respected man. It took you a while to get there. It took a different journey to most, I believe. But earlier on, I was talking to Vincent and Mark Francois about the House of Lords and how sometimes they poke their nose in a little bit too much, they stifle things and slow things down. Now, there is a character in there called Justin Welby, I think, a good friend of yours. And I think sometimes he actually goes overboard. Yeah. I think he should rein it in a little bit. And I'm thinking he's not democratically elected.
He's not.
And I want to ask you, should the Archbishop of Canterbury be democratically elected by his flock?
100%. Because the Anglican communion is massive. It's a global communion. And we forget it's not just the Church of England. And the vast majority of Anglicans are sound. They're orthodox in their faith. And they're not woke at all, where Justin Welby is. If we elected our first among equals from the entire Anglican communion, we'd probably end up with an African, and that would be a lot better than what we have right now.
Well, why do you say that, Calvin?
Because they actually believe in the Bible.
Yeah.
You know, I think having the Lord spiritual in the House of Lords was important, because they provided that moral compass. Yeah. But now they're moralising on political issues. They're partisan. You know, Justin Welby just hates anything that's conservative.
But I guess when you look back over the centuries, especially in this country, the heads of church have always been really involved or closely involved, whether it's to the monarch or to the politicians, and sort of interfered and influenced, and there's been a bit of money involved as well, Kelvin, over the years.
Yeah. I mean, the famous abdication around the Wallace-Simpson situation was very heavily influenced by the Archbishop at the time, Cosimo Lang.
Vince, I know you're not a man of religion, but do you think there's a place for religious leaders in politics?
I think there's certainly a place for Christians in politics, and you know, it is in many ways the national religion. But the issue about having a role in the House of Lords, I would question. Yeah. I mean, you know, Justin Welby actually, I think he's one of the good guys. I mean, he lived in the real world. He worked in the oil industry. I mean,
is that the real world, Vince?
I think it is. I was in it. But you know, you've got George Carey, who was his predecessor, who's conservative with a small c. I think to some extent they cancel each other out. But if we're talking about the House of Lords, I mean, there really isn't, in the long run, a justification for having a group of...
I think it goes back to what...
There are other religious people, you know, there are evangelicals, there are Muslims and so on. Why just the Church of England?
Because we're a Christian country.
Yeah, indeed, but there are different types of Christians who probably should be represented as well.
There is another organisation within this country that seems to be, at the moment, the official opposition to, and it has since I got elected, and that's the BBC. Yeah. Now, they seem at every opportunity to poke their nose in. We saw it this week, or last week, with the Coots situation, the Farage situation. It's very quick to put the boot in there. And we see some of their presenters, their newsreaders, you know, tweeting all sorts of nonsense and not being that, you know, that anti-Beeb that I grew up with, that impartial organisation.
Yeah. I was on the Beeb. It was a real tough ride, because they like to live in that echo chamber. They like to be in that metropolitan liberal elite bubble where they think they're morally superior to the rest of us, and they like to lecture us plebs on how to live our lives.
Right. Vince, you're a little bit older than me, so you've obviously over the years seen the changes within our media back to the days of 3 channels. That's certainly what it was like when I was growing up in the 70s. I always harp on about the BBC being, in the 70s and 80s, a place of comfort. It was anti-Beeb. It was an organisation that reassured you. There was no bias. It was impartial. You never knew in your wildest dreams which way a presenter would vote, or because there's no social media then. Do you think it's changed over the years and become a little bit biased or too political?
I think this stuff about the BBC being some kind of left-wing organisation is completely wrong. I mean, I used to come under a lot of pressure as somebody who was centre-left, Lib Dem. You know, they would attack me just as impartially as they did people from the other side. No, I think they fall over backwards, actually.
Can I propose something to you? That it's not left-wing, and no one's saying that it's left-wing. It's not left-wing, it's not right-wing, it's metropolitan liberal elite. It's that Westminster bubble, it's that London environment that's different to the rest of the country.
Well, they did have a very strong kind of regional infrastructure, and they've been trying to keep it, and they should. You know, they should have a lot of very strong, you know, regional television and radio. So I don't buy that either, actually.
Okay, Vince. So I'm going to wrap that up, because I want to go from one woke organisation to 3 woke organisations, because it's my favourite part of the show now, which is Wokey of the Week, Kelvin. You're going to be the judge.
All right.
So we've got 3 contestants this week. We've got Waterstones. The customers are accusing them of not being able to find the works of Sharon Davis and other gender-critical feminists on their bookshelves. That's the first one. Obviously, we've got Coots Bank with the debacle over Nigel Farage, and Snow White, it says here. The new movie refers to dwarves as magical creatures. Now, you're not a dwarf. You must be 6 foot odd.
I barely fit through the doors. I think forget the Snow White thing. We can
Let's cross that off.
That's
Let's cross that off.
Waterstones is an issue because they're trying to gatekeep knowledge. If we can't look at gender-critical books, if we can only look at books that they think are appropriate, that's quite a scary prospect, especially for young people. But Coots is the ultimate winner in my eyes because without banking, we're not able to engage in civil society.
So thanks for that, Kelvin. Coots the Bank are the winner. Kelvin's choice this week. This is a trophy, Kelvin.
Love it.
This is Wokey of the Week. I think it's a fair winner. So yeah, it's a good choice. And
they deserve it.
if you're looking Coots, this will be on your cabinet by the end of the week. So